Hi everybody, I am Coach Rebecca Smith here for our weekly Q&A with Coach Rebecca. I am the founder of Complete Performance Coaching, which is a team of awesome coaches who I have handpicked and rigorously trained to be the most qualified, most awesome, most fun coaches who can help you or your child or the kids you coach to maximize their performance and enjoyment of their sport. So whether you are having the best season of your life or you are in a rut, we are here to help. And each week I'm here on the Complete Performance Coaching Facebook page and the Perform Happy podcast, if you prefer to get your media that way, answering questions from members of the Perform Happy community. And today I have a doozy because I've got two really good questions I'm going to try to tackle here. The first one is from a gymnastics parent, and she asks, how does a parent react when your child won't allow you to compliment ever? Usually after a meet though, even if it's just on effort and not results, which is something I talk about a lot, especially in the parenting courses, like praise effort, praise progress. Don't talk about winning, don't talk about scores. So she's doing that. My daughter peeled off bars during a meet last night, but got right back on and did a beautiful routine that included the flyaway she hates. Hooray, she did it. Then she convinced everyone she was not going to do her back tuck, then ended up doing it and was glorious at it. So these are huge wins for this girl who's been struggling with fear. She broke 9s on 2 events, got one of her highest all-around scores, and qualified for states. This was her first meet back as a USAG gymnast. All I heard was negative out of her mouth. So frustrating. I can't say anything positive, and if I say nothing, then she doesn't think I care. Sigh, she says. Okay, so parents, we could go into the mother-daughter thing, just generally that, what is an adolescent girl's job? It's to push her mom's buttons. Like, I am just waiting for my toddler to grow up and decide that everything I have to say is wrong. That's kind of part of the deal. But that aside, you've done a lot of things right. You've praised her progress. You have noticed where she did well. You're her biggest fan. You're her cheerleader. You're there. But the thing you got wrong was the timing. And the time you don't want to talk about basically any like reaction or judgment, good or bad, is right after the meet is over. That's the time when she's going to have so many emotions. She's going to have like, I'm so excited that I broke through my fear, but I'm a perfectionist and I messed up here and this wasn't as good as I'd wanted it to be and everybody's watching and I'm embarrassed and I shouldn't need spots and I wish I was better. And it's like, she's got all that self-comparison going, so she doesn't want to hear it. I love that there are some articles on a study that college coaches did when athletes were transitioning out of sport, and they asked over 3 decades, they asked all these athletes transitioning out of sport, what was your least favorite part of youth sports? And it was overwhelming that the answer was the ride home after the game, after the meet. Because that's when the parents were like, hey, you did pretty good, but let's talk about this, and why can't you, and hey, your friend did a pretty good job on this. It's, even the most well-meaning parents still stress their kids out when their kids just want to be done with that game. They just want to be done with that meet. They just want to like sit and feel and be mad or just totally check out, because it was a roller coaster of experience. So mom, your job is to say, I love to watch you perform. That was the thing that everybody wanted to hear from their parents in that same study. I love to watch you play. I love to watch you practice. Because that's not about them. That's about you. You're just sharing like, I love watching you compete and I'm so proud of you. And that's pretty much it. So she knows you care. She knows you watched, and then that's it. You don't have to tell her she worked hard. You don't have to tell her that she looked good. You don't have to tell her that it was great. You just say, I had such a fun time watching you today. Thanks for having me here to watch you. I'm so proud of you for helping, letting me participate in this thing that's special to you. The end. Then she gets to be free to have whatever experience she wants to have. She can think she did awful. She can think she did great, even if she totally failed. That is her prerogative, that she gets to have whatever experience, whatever feelings she needs to have around it. And you are there to help her process it when she's ready. Maybe it's an hour later, maybe it's 5 hours later, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's next week. But if she has allowed herself to feel and vent and kind of let it go, you're going to get such a better conversation out of her. I talk with kids all the time who, I'll talk to them on a Wednesday and they're like, after that meet on Saturday, it was so horrible. I thought I did so bad, but now looking back, I didn't do that bad. I'm kind of okay with how I did. They get more perspective with time. So give her some space, give her a hug, tell her you loved watching her, and then just back off. And if she wants to talk about it, go for it. That she kind of needs to call the shots. And that's something that's really critical, is that if the conversation is going to happen, she has to instigate it. She has to start talking about it, and then you just listen with a curious ear. Don't give any advice. Don't give any feedback. Just listen and kind of reflect back. Oh, so you think that, maybe coach said it wasn't that good of a week of practice, so it makes sense that you guys kind of struggled on vault. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And you share back what you're hearing from her, instead of trying to mold her experience or get her to be happy or get her to be positive. You just listen, okay? And then your job is to stay in the facts. So if she's just super negative, she's not going to go positive for you. I mean, it's hard enough to get yourself to kind of move into the positive zone. So all we want to do is start aiming toward neutral. So if you're in the facts of hey, this score was good, or, you made that skill, those are facts, right? So she can be oh, but it wasn't good enough. But that's okay. You're still building her confidence. Even if she doesn't like it, even if she's too busy being negative to listen, if you give her that feedback of I saw somebody working hard out there, I'm really proud of you. Even if she's oh, I did so bad, she hears it. It's going in. Okay, so just check your timing, keep doing what you're doing. You're really, really on the right track. And then as she gets more confidence, more positive, successful experiences, she'll open up to being able to receive positive feedback with confidence. All right, now moving along to the next question. This is from another member of the Perform Happy community who has a soccer player. And this dad asks, how do we help a child perform their best regardless of whom they're playing against? One of our boys plays soccer spectacularly when playing up 1 or 2 years, but he's a different kid against his own age. We aren't sure why, but it's almost as if he only turns his game on for a challenge. We love that he has the ability in him, but our concern is that an outside source, competition, appears to govern his drive. Okay, so there's a course in the community that is called Finding Flow. And flow is this amazing concept that all the CPC coaches and I kind of govern our work on. And it's one of the main things behind getting into flow, which is where you absolutely maximize performance, is having a challenge skill balance. So your challenge is high enough to really push your skill level and get you a little bit out of your comfort zone. So if you are playing against someone who's way better than you, you're not likely to get into flow because you're just okay, what's the point? This person's going to kick my butt. If you're playing against someone who is a really easy competitor, you're not going to have the focus required to maximize your ability to play, and you're going to be bored. And so you'll make stupid mistakes. Okay, so that's the first thing that came to mind when I read this question, is that in order to get the best out of your athletes, they have to have the perfect challenge skill balance. So that makes sense if you've got this talented player that if he plays up 2 years, he has to be focused. He's got to be on his game in order just to catch up. But then when he's playing kids his own age, he's maybe not as focused. But another thing, this is something that I've had come up with gymnasts, with tennis players, with all kinds of athletes, is that if they're, let's see, where is it going with that? Okay, if they have the lead or if they're ahead, their focus switches to not wanting to lose the lead. Okay, so for you gymnasts, if you're out there and you had 2 good events, you tighten up on the third and are just don't fall, oh my gosh, I'm doing good, I could get the all-around score I want. Okay, soccer players, if you are winning the game, then you're just don't lose the lead. Oh gosh, okay, don't lose the lead. And then you start playing conservatively. Tennis players, you start, tightening up and you don't get behind your hits as much. And it's you kind of crunch up in this self-preservation mode and you don't want to fail. So you change the way you're playing and you get really conservative. And that affects your focus, it affects everything. And then also with kids, you might have this fear of embarrassment. They're like, I have to beat these kids, so I need to be really stressed out. Because if I don't beat these kids, I'm going to look really stupid because I'm supposed to be, quote unquote, the best. And if I don't beat them, I'm going to look really bad and people are going to laugh at me, or, you know, whatever that reaction is. If there are expectations on the table of greatness, that can make a big difference versus, hey, you're playing someone who's probably supposed to beat you anyway, then it would be really fun to win, but it doesn't matter. So I'm not sure for your kid if it's more about the focus, like that if you're really, like if it's an easy team, you're just going to kind of go out and kick the ball around and hope it works. If it's a hard team, you're going to pay attention, you're going to get in, you're going to be on the ball, you're going to be aggressive. So it changes your whole vibe. So kind of check in with your kid. What's different when you're playing a hard team? What do you focus on? What gets you excited? What gets that, fire burning in you? And how can you do that when you're playing an easier team? And something you could do, which I love to do for any triggers of low performance, if you catch a pattern, like whenever I play at my level, I don't do well, then you go, okay, how can I up the challenge there? How can I use that as a moment for mental toughness building? For example, if you know you're playing an easy team, then your job is to get 3 rebounds, try to make 3 goals, and keep your eyes on the ball the entire game. You set specific, measurable goals so that you have to challenge yourself. And you're like, okay, it's an easy team, which means this is a mental toughness game. So I'm here to get tougher because the competition's easy, but I need to challenge myself in a very specific way that keeps my focus off of the outcome, off of don't lose, because I'm going to look stupid if I don't win, and onto how do I get myself in a position to score more goals, in a position to be there and to be on my man. That's the focus. You have to be in the moment, going aggressive, and challenging yourself. That's how you find flow even in a slightly easier competition environment. So those are my suggestions for that. And feel free, obviously, those of you who are in the Perform Happy community, you can go in and ask me more questions. You can elaborate. You can let me know more about your kid, and I will give you my 2 cents on that. And our freebie for the day is my little report called 5 Things to Never Say to Your Child After a Competition. And the hint here is you're probably saying all of them because they're all what the well-meaning parents do. So if you want that, you can download it for free at CompletePerformanceCoaching.com/5 for those 5 things to never say to your kid after a competition. Download those, and you can always find me and the other members of the Complete Performance Coaching squad at CompletePerformanceCoaching.com/schedule. Grab yourself a free 20-minute coaching session with any of us. See if it would be a good fit to get you moving forward with your sport. Thank you guys for watching, and I will be back next week. Bye.